Thank you for taking this moment to breathe and to listen to what can change your life forever. My name is Jacque Zoccoli, and I'm the founder of Startpreneurs TV, How to Dominate the Decade talk show, World Women Conference and Awards, and the creator of Coral Desk. My mission is to empower through education, and I want to congratulate you today because by showing up, you are investing in your future and in your personal growth. Thank you for doing so. Today, I have the distinct honor to bring you a guest from Arizona, United States of America. And her name is Jacque Zoccoli, and she is the coach, the word of mouth strategist, the author and speaker. In the global arena, she is a collaboration specialist and influence broker. So let's get to know who Jacque really is and why is Jacque doing what she's doing. And obviously for me, when I was reading word of mouth strategist, I need to meet that lady. So welcome to the show, and Jacque, tell us your story.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this time at a short notice and everything. I just love to be able to show my perspective, and really it's all pretty much wrapped up in my mantra. My age justifies my wisdom. My developed clarity teaches the excitement of awareness and ignites the spark of action and change. And that thoroughly is who I am. I very much pride myself on being able to come to a conversation with people to look at the whole perspective with my database in my brain and to see what it is that I can do to improve upon their path. So I connect people globally, and in the connections, hopefully create new word of mouth partners.
This is a beautiful answer, and I think a more clearer answer I have never received.
So, I've been honing it for a few years.
So let's talk about your passion and purpose in life, because a lot of people, when I ask that question, they say, I thought that I had it clear, and I thought that I had it, but nevertheless, to say it out loud makes them tumble and sometimes not be that secure anymore. Is this really what my life purpose? So let's see yours.
Yeah, well, I've always been passionate about being the catalyst for spontaneous combustion. And by bringing people together, and they are typically going the same direction and don't realize it. And when I do that, to be any part of building that bridge between them delights me. I just love to be part of instigating change. And most times the people that I speak with haven't a clue of the wonder that's around them. So I come into the conversation curious. I come in wanting to learn what they're doing, where they're going, and my whole time, I hate to say channeling because it feels a little strange, but it really is, because my database is in my brain. So it's a matter of bringing together, oh, this, oh, that, oh, yeah, oh, thank you, that was good. And bringing together the people that would help in their path. So my passion is to see others ignite their success by working together.
That's beautiful. Would you say that this is also something that really distinguishes you and makes you unique and that draws people to you? Or what would you say, what really distinguishes you yourself in business and in life?
Well, it's my overall perspective. I've been labeled the community builder by various aptitude type tests, and that's exactly what I do, and many people don't. They are focused on one goal, to get business. I'm not in any way, shape, or form. My whole goal, which is so different, is to come to the conversation and see what I can do to improve it. So I look at it all around. I will be in a meeting And there may be anywhere from 2 to 10 or whatever many people. And eventually by the end of the meeting, they say, Jackie, what is your thought? And I say, well, I have to get all the input. I'm one of those. And most people don't. They will just write what they, no. Once I see where we're going, I condense it into clear, concise words as to where we're going. And now let's work on it. Let's get a strategy. So I think that's different from most people.
Definitely, even the way that you choose your words is very distinct. So I'm so drawn and like fascinated, because I was like, okay, what is the next word that she's going to choose? This is how she's going to express herself there. So it's you got it. So
well, I'll tell you a real quick story that will make you laugh. When I grew up, I was always taking the notes in the Girl Scout meeting with such detail it would probably gag you. When I went into the sorority, I did the same thing, but they paid attention and they actually acted. So I thought, ooh, we got something here. I went into my first job working for someone, and the manager said, no, you got to get rid of all those words. I said, what? He says, no, nobody's going to listen to you at all. Clean it up and make it clear. Well, that was some 25, 30 years ago. So it's taken me several years to actually accomplish that, but I credit him for cleaning it up for me. And that's what I do. I don't have time for all the other stuff. Life's too short.
Yeah, we tend to forget, not even maybe to forget, but I think it's something very important that is not really taught in our traditional education. We are not taught to do this. We're taught to memorize as much as information as possible, no? So to really being able to take this story and put it in 2 sentences is pretty hard to do for most of the people, I would say, me included, by the way.
Well, you have to start with this base. Each of us interprets things differently because of past experience. And if you don't start with a clean start, you have so many flowers going from all different backgrounds that often it doesn't get communicated. So it has to be clean and concise to start with. And so that's why I do what I do.
And that's why I'm pretty sure that you are very successful in whatever you do. But let's talk about your, I think, like the cream de la cream, as they say in France, networking. So how can business people network more effectively? I think now it's a very relevant question, because we were so used to face-to-face networking, and what is going on now, it's totally different game. So your input here is very interesting to hear.
Well, the first and most important is, when I do any networking, I am not out looking for a customer. So that right there shakes people up. How the heck do you get business? The customer is not important. It's the people who see my customer. So instead of looking for that person to buy my product, I build a team of people. And I do that by everyone that I speak to. I think, what is your expertise and what is your need? Those 2 things are the most important. Everyone, even a kid, a baby, cries and is fed and whatever. They have an expertise and they have a need. And if that's my principal reason for talking to them, then I look and see next what I have, who I have, what is it that will fulfill that need. Many times they won't tell me. I'll go into the conversation and I'll say, what's your need? And they'll go, huh? Yeah, I'm your Christmas list. What's your need? I really want to know what you need. And many of them have a hard time vocalizing it. However, once expertise and need, then who's their target? Who is it that they're targeting? And then, who do I know targeting the same audience? Because you can get one client, that's cool. But when you get someone that's going to feed you clients because they're targeting the same people, why would you not do that instead of just one? So the first is to basically think of alliance before you think a customer. Ask your needs and expertise, and then see who you know that is going in that direction. And those three basic things, then if it seems to be the same direction you're going, then you start the process of really building that relationship to create a strategic alliance, not just somebody that might consider you occasionally. And then that's the part that I come in to be able to build those teams and what you do with that person. A lot of times we get people that we think are alliances, and okay, now silence. Now what? I mean, what are you going to do together? Oh, I don't know. Okay, let's think about what you're doing now. Let's look at that same target audience. Where are they? What do they need? What can you do together? What projects can you do together? Excuse me. What is it? What is that plan that you can do together as partners? So those are a few tips that maybe are different.
You that you're listening, if you are not making notes, then go get your pen, go get your paper, because you just needed to understand now that majority, when we have our business, when we have our services and products, where do we focus? Presenting what we have and not talking about our needs or the needs of our clients. So go back, take the notes. If you didn't take the notes now, then you need to come back to this video, watch it again, put the play and stop until you get it done. Okay. So, but let's move on. You also have a corporate background, and I'm very curious to know what has been the greatest lesson that you learned while you were working in the corporate world, because there's many of and especially female, let's say, entrepreneurs that start their business after 40s, and especially when they have a career behind them, like in a corporate world, and that's the main trigger why they leave the corporate world to become the entrepreneurs, because of those lessons. So let's hear yours.
Well, my lessons, really, there are only two, essentially. The first one is, don't play. It's a chess game. You know, it's a political chess game. And that's why I got out of it predominantly. I didn't want to play chess. I tried to play chess years ago, and I got so trying to figure out what my next step was that I decided I'm not going to. So that's the first thought, which is relatively negative, except no better. The second is, use the same principles I said with the networking. When you know the people in the corporate world, or even if you are in the corporate world, what is your goal for being there? Do you want to move up that ladder and take your chance in the politics to get up there? Do you want to go to the places that they are serving? What is your goal? It's the same as when I said with networking. Find out the expertise and the need of who you want to work with going up the ladder. Once you find out their expertise and their need and who they are addressing, who they are targeting, who they are working with, then you can see who you have that would make them happy. Because when you're able to fulfill those needs, first of all, they won't go anywhere else. Second of all, you become remarkable, so they will remark about you. So it's the same whether you're in a corporate environment, whether you're a small business owner, or wherever you are. It's building that relationship, focusing on, and I love the first thought of this. My friend Nancy Matthews from Women's Prosperity Network uses this constantly. The first and most important is each person that you meet. Is this the one? Is this the one? Are you the one? Are you the one that's going to change everything? So when you go with that philosophy, are you the one? See how it changes your mindset. You're curious. You're not thinking of judgment. You want to know, are they the one? That's why I met you. Are you the one where you and I can collaborate to a degree that, look out, women, we have resources that won't quit? And I think probably. So doesn't matter, corporate or regular. It's, are you the one? And then see what you can do to improve their life because of you.
This is beautiful advice, and I think whoever just will really take this advice will cut off a lot of learning curves for yourself. So I would recommend to do so. Let's talk about your projects, and what would you say, what is the one project that you're most proud of?
Well, if I were to say one project I'm most proud of, gosh, there are several. I am developing what's called Manifesting Global Solutions Group. And it's based on the way I look at the life of others. And my concept is, as an individual, the most important thing in this world is to bring or develop and create self-esteem in each person in our world. So my concept on an individual level is to bring together nonprofits in the communities of the world to listen, to speak to the individual and say, tell me about you. Well, first of all, their self-esteem goes, okay. And I have groups that once they do tell us, the point is I have their lives in a video. I said, would you like to hear somebody's that's similar to yours? Oh, well, yeah, that's cool. There's somebody with commonalities. And can I record yours? And at that point, yeah, we got self-esteem going, and then we give resources. So that is the individual. That's a project, ultimate project in my life. But then that individual needs to relate to people. They need to now interface with the public. So my 5Gs come into fact. And so as they relate to anyone else, the first is commonalities. Okay, what do we have in common? That's what brings us together, but that does nothing unless you do communicate those commonalities and then commit to work together and then contribute to that commitment. And if you do it with an open mind, without judgment, and keep your own expertise, you get collaboration. And I call that the glow. So that's my philosophy, and the action started in 2016. 2016, I worked with a group, World Parliament on Spirituality, and the concept was to come to solution, mostly the UN directives, to come to solution and to increase love, prosperity, and peace. And I said, sign me up. I want to have something to do with that. So we got people from, to start with, 40 countries that we selected, and that was their goal with mentoring. I called Pakistan and I said, what are your needs? And they said, well, food and water. And they listed all of these things that I put the phone down. I said, this is not uncommon. This is what they all need. So I wrote them down, and they turned out to be about 8 areas. And I thought, I know people in every single area. I can accomplish this. I can make this happen. So at that point, I thought, okay, Manifesting Global Solutions Group, but I certainly can't do this by myself by any way. So at that point, God said, start with education and start local. I said, oh, okay, I'll do that. I can do that. So in the process, I have grown a relationship from birth to death in the area of education. The first being from birth to 3rd grade in an app, a literacy app, that is Footsteps #2 Brilliance, and it takes them from wherever they are to 3rd grade in 90 days. Then after 3rd grade, the 6th grade up through high school, maybe college, is Journeys Map, and it gives them a path to take and certificated or college courses and employers at the end. Then from 16 to 29, that's with this World Parliament, which turns out to be International Youth Parliament. Those individuals working on the UN directives, and I mentor about 10 of them and help them to increase love, prosperity, and peace. That gets me to 29. And then from 29, there's a group called People Power, and they help to get veterans or other groups up to a job and career in 29 days. And then I coach people in the health area that works with baby boomers. So I've got the whole education one down pretty well, and I have affiliate membership with these groups, except IYP, the International Youth Parliament. That's all totally my heart. So that's a single project? Yeah, I suppose. The crowning cherry for the top of all of that was when I met Planned Acts of Kindness. And this is an organization globally that through planned acts are able to work on the UN directives and to increase love and peace in our world. So I said, yeah, how are you doing all of that? By clubs, by books, by all kinds of things, by a book going out to all the families of the COVID people, all this. And I said, let me bring all my groups in. So I am able to bring those groups in education under that umbrella of planned acts of kindness, except for People Power. We haven't quite gotten that yet. And I'm including the Peace Corps because I was in the Peace Corps for 2 years in Liberia, West Africa. And my love is still there. And 7,000 volunteers were returned home in March. So if I can bring them into planned acts of kindness in their intern program and help them to continue their cause until they can get back in their country, then I have this all done. Instead of my Manifesting Global Solutions group, I'm not sure yet, but it sounds like Planned Acts and another group called One Day Movement has this whole thing figured out. So I'm still kind of navigating. That was a long answer for a simple project.
Yeah, but now I understand why you are in front of me. So I have my clarity moment now.
Yeah. I'm sure people usually go, well, that one, yeah, I could do that one. Well, we can make, yeah, I'm sure we can work on that one. So, yeah.
So, yes, Julie Christopher, thank you very much.
Yeah, Julie, we got the spiritual thing right between our ears going, yes, this is what we want to accomplish.
But you mentioned just briefly glow. I understand that this is also one of the most important part for you in order to, whenever you connect with people. Can you tell us more about glow?
Well, the guided love of wholeness is those 5 steps. When you realize that you meet someone, commonalities is the bottom ground there. Do what you can to bring out commonalities, because that's what's going to make the relationship work. It will get to a stage eventually where what you don't have in common is the most important, because you want to aspire to that. You want to learn from that, and that'll keep you going. I know I've been married for 41 years, and that's what's kept us going, because we're opposites. So we have enough in common. It's commonality that's the most important. But if you just sit there with it and don't communicate with it, which is the second C, what good is it? You're not doing anything. So the glow second C, and that forms that. But you can't really do much about that unless you decide to commit to working together as we would in collaboration. Now we got something going, and that's the hardest part for people. Commit. I got to commit. I did that 2 years ago and I got a divorce. So commit is kind of a hard one. Though I realized after all my years doing that, and a salesperson said, no wonder it's not working. It's not working because people won't commit. And I was crushed for 2 days. And I came back and I realized, just as I had started in 1986, I realized every person that I meet knows at least 600 more people. Isn't it worth it to commit? Yeah, don't you think? Okay, so we emphasize the commit. and then contribute to that relationship. And if you bring all of the no judgment and no competition, that's a big deal. We're so hung up a lot of times on competing. I can do better than this guy. I've got better than that. I've got that. When you do that, you eliminate people along the way. But if you go with the concept of creating a new path together, you bring up people with you to go on that path, and you're not eliminating anyone. And that's where the glow comes in, because you work as a team and build alliances.
This is beautiful, and I think today the world is in a great need of it, because when we just take the time pre-COVID, we all know that it was all about me, myself, and I can do better, and I, and now we are all about us, because we know that we can't go very far alone, no? So this is beautiful, and absolutely fantastic. Again, if you didn't write down those 5 steps, go back to this video, make the notes, because you will need them, and you will absolutely rock if you start to apply those to your life. But let's talk about the word of mouth strategy. So who needs it, and why would they need one?
Well, you know that people won't buy just because of you. Unless you're gorgeous and well appointed like you are, maybe they would. I take that hopefully as a compliment. The point is that, yes, it's you and your personality, but it's what someone says. Oh my gosh, you got to buy this. Oh, I loved this. This was so cool. Oh, wow, this is great. And if you listen to that individual and you've known them and you like and trust them, you're going to pay attention to them. That's called word of mouth. And that's the most efficient way of selling anything. But short of coming to someone and throttling them and say, make me word of mouth, it does not work that way. You have to be endearing to them and work with them in partnership before they're going to tell their audience, which if you're smart, that's the same one as yours, about you. So the strategy on developing word of mouth pieces or people is to align with those going in the same direction. And when you work as a team to the same audience, it's going to sell what you have, because the people that you're both addressing are the same people.
Exactly. Very, very, very true. So beautiful. Thank you for clarifying it in the best way possible. So you mentioned that you are an influence broker. So what do a collaboration specialist and a influence broker do?
What I love to do is to find out where people are going and they have a hole. Let's say they have a project. Great example, and I won't give too much specifics, I'm on confidentiality, but an amusement park, let's say, and there are divisions of the amusement park, all different parts of life. They're going to need somebody that knows this, knows that knows this, knows that. That's an influence broker. You tell me the kind of person that you need for that project, and I'm all over it. They're probably in my database of about 7,000 people. And if they aren't, I'll go find them. And I'll vet them and put them in your path. So that's an influence broker. And as far as global collaboration, the obvious there is that when anyone says global, I'm like this, because there are so many needs in countries all over the world. My biggest love is to work with a nonprofit in some part of the world and to bring others into their direction. Now I work now with the International Youth Parliament that I told you about, and these kids in my world, they're 16 to 29, they all have causes. They're adamant about changing the lives of women, of all kinds of things to do with trafficking or whatever it is. If I can bring in people as resources to grow that, to make it stronger for them, that's what I call global collaboration. is bringing in the forces so that as a team, you can work as alliances.
Beautiful. My next question actually was about your philanthropic work. So you have mentioned some cases, but what would you say? What is the closest to your heart?
Well, PAC, the Planned Acts of Kindness, right now is because it's working with everything and bringing in all of it.
Mm-hmm.
My second favorite would be the Footsteps to Brilliance, because the app literally will change the lives of, and is, thousands of children, especially now. I was just, the school district in my area just took on that app. And the accomplishment of 950 plus students now having a literacy level that they never would have had through this chaos and World War C makes me feel so accomplished that I was able to make that happen. So, you know, everybody says, well, I made so many millions for this company or that corporation or whatever. And I go, okay, goody for you. But if I can literally change the literacy of the children around me, sign me up. I'm much more for that than I am for making you 20 bucks.
Beautiful. So, what do you think with everything going on? Obviously, a lot of people had to reinvent themselves, and most probably including you. What do you see? What the future will bring for you personally and professionally?
The future for me, again, is this pack that I speak of. When we can bring this all together and be able to sort it by courses or whatever it happens to be, to get the rest of the world to be on the third level is the way I look at it. Because of what's happening right this minute, and since March in our world, since November in other worlds. But since that, I see three stages. The first stage is panic and unbelief and pain and all of this kind of stuff. The second one is, well, we got a new normal. I guess we'll have to play this game somehow. I don't understand what I'm going to do. And the third level is compassion. The compassion for each other to work together as a team. And that is what I am all about. Because social distancing creates spiritual discovery. And the spiritual discovery can be painful, can be unbelievable, so that a year or two from now you look back and say, well, 2020 was hindsight. What did I do? What did I pivot, or did I go down a rabbit hole? So my desire is to get people in the third level around me as gracefully and harmoniously as I possibly can, as we realized, as we did in 9/11, there's so much power in working together for the common good. In this case, the whole world's at the same point for the first time in our history. Compassion, compassion. What can we do as a team to build individual lives back up and to see that that discovery that I speak of is a good thing, that they really do have all they need to get back up and to take advantage of things that are now in front of us that would have taken maybe 10 or 15 years to be in front of us. But all of a sudden, they're there. And either you're ready or you're not. So when you realize that you do have the tools, you have the experience, you have everything that you need, really. And that's what I love to show people, is to look into their database and to realize that they have the people that they need. They do. They're sitting right there, but you haven't paid attention to them because you haven't thought about them as the same target audience. Let me show you how to address them, because now they're on one screen. They aren't running around to this event or running to that or over here, over here. Take advantage. Talk to them. Talk to them. It's real simple. Just talk to them. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I think that's what I would like to see, is for me to be able to usher in as many people as I can to the compassion level and see their value.
That's beautiful. Now comes our traditional question, and we always kindly ask every single person who is guest at our show to share their 3 recommendations how to dominate the decade. Which would be your three recommendations?
Well, I think it's real simple, and I'm not sure I'd break it down totally into 3, but to me, it's a very simple philosophy that you might have gathered from what I've said. Your mindset rules. That's about as simple as it gets. How you grow that mindset is the most important tool that you possibly can get created. And I do a lot of, I'm mentored, so to speak, by a man by the name of Wallace Waddle. You may have heard of him. He died in 1912. I've been taking some coaching based on his philosophy and Darren Hardy. Those are my 2 very favorites, with a third of Nancy Matthews in there. And I've incorporated that into what I see will, in my world, be the choice for the decade. And that choice is based on when a person knows deep inside that they are, and I'm having to relate to God because that's the way I work, is that you are accepted and loved and feel that you are of significance because of God's presence in your life. And that strong foundation allows you to then go on and be the creator, not the competitor, with an open mind and a desire to fill the lives of those you interact with in a positive way, to improve it, to add a positive fingerprint on their life better than they ever expected, then that is what I consider what is going to change this decade. And of course, if you go to that interaction, are you the one? Are you the one? Is it you? Is it going to be you? And so if people would go to interactions with a database mind, going with, who do I know that can improve this situation? What can I do? What can I do to screen these people and make sure it assists them? And how can I make them feel better than when they originally met me? If we had that philosophy, what can we do for the other? And are you the one? It will grow because it becomes a magnet. It becomes like a magnet. And one of my favorite quotes is that, now I can't remember it totally, is my abundance provides that which my soul needs in their purpose in life. And that's what I need, is to acknowledge all that is about me, to every moment I possibly can, to be grateful for what I have. And with that gratitude and that assurance, to create new paths of things I see need to happen. You can't stop that, because the magnetism of what you have, people will see that energy. They will be attracted to where you're going. And to me, that's the answer.
That's beautiful recommendations. And again, you that you're looking to make some notes, I hope you did. So if people want to follow you, if people want to contact you, how can they do so?
Well, it's networkbuildersarizona.com. I'm in the process of cleaning that up. So I am apologizing slightly for it because it's going to be my name, JacquelineZoccoli.com, but it's not there yet. So Network Builders with an S, Arizona, all spelled out.com. And that's where you'll find probably more than you need for what we can do together. And then Jackie @ is what you would do to get to me, JACQUE.
Beautiful. So I want to thank you. Thank you for really contributing into our relationship and also to our audience. But what would be the sort of last message that you want to leave with our audience with?
Actually, it's a quote by Gary Spence. Quotes have been very important in my life. They have led me, and they do daily, to be open to wonder rather than closed by belief.
That's a beautiful, beautiful quote, beautiful thought. And that can really strive a lot of people. So you were taking those notes, what do you need to do now with those notes? Also, you need to take action on them. Why? Because by doing so, you can become the hero of your own life, because that will give you the power to change your life in a way that you have always dreamed of. So become the hero of your own life. But you can also become the hero in someone else's life. How? By sharing this video. Because I think today there were so many golden nuggets which were shared here. If you didn't have clarity before, now if you didn't take anything else out of it, then you understand why you do need clarity in your life. Because we were talking about a lot of different topics and a lot of different recommendations were made, but it all comes down what will work for you.
Let me just add one thing to that, if I might interrupt you for a minute. I give a clarity from chaos session online like this. And what that means is I listen to where you're going, brainstorm on new niches and new alliances, and it's complimentary. So you can go to my website and find that. And then from then on, it's a matter of looking at your own database or fixing up your LinkedIn so that you look presentable. Because that's how you got to me afterwards. It's like, we don't do a one-on-one, let's do this. So it's looking at your profile. So anyhow, the clarity from chaos, if you're still confused, let me know.
Beautiful. So become the hero of your own life and in someone else's life. So take action. I will see you in our next episodes. Have a blissful afternoon. Thank you for joining us.